Hey everyone, this is Glenn at H2O Studio. It's a beautiful day. It was not like this moments ago because this week was awful up here. We won't get into it, but there was a horrible incident and made national news up here in Watertown. It happened on Wednesday. So 3 days later, we haven't seen the sun yet, and the sun popped out about probably an hour ago or so. And then in addition to that, look what else popped up right here, quite literally, if you look on the left-hand side of your screen, popping out on the left side, that's Kass Louise, along with Michelle. Michelle, how are you?
I'm great. How are you? We brought the sunshine.
You
huh?
certainly brought the sunshine. And let me just tell you something, and that's me, and that's Josh. Now, even if it was overcast today, Josh, these two ladies certainly would have brought sunshine anyway. Is that correct?
They would brighten up anybody's day.
You guys are sweet.
They really are. Kass obviously loves showcasing her beautiful body, and she does that on OnlyFans. Is that correct?
I do.
You do. And again,
I can thank my doctor.
Well, you can
Dr. DeRoberts in Syracuse.
move the microphone just a little bit closer to you. Okay, great. All right, so yes, that's right. Hold it with two hands while you're at it. Sorry, I had to say that, Josh. All right, so anyway, we'll go back. So in as far as what Kass is all about, Kass is just a free spirit, incredible life story. But at this point in her life, she celebrates her femininity. Is that correct? Is that a good way of putting it, Kass?
Yeah, I guess you could.
Okay, I'll put it like that. Josh, would you agree that if you got it, flaunt it and do the best you can within reason? Am I right on that?
I think you're right.
Okay, so to the left or on our screen, we have the lovely Michelle. And Michelle, tell us about you and your gorgeous outfit today, and how it is to be a beautiful woman.
Well, it's pretty fantastic, Glenn. I'm actually a homeopath by trade, and so that's what I do in my day-to-day life, and then the normal.
So tonight, together, what we're going to do is explore the wonderful world of hypnosis once again. Today, what we have is three people that would consider themselves in attendance to these new suggestions that we're going to talk about when we talk about improving your life. And that's what we're going to talk about. So we have actually extremely attractive subjects today.
That's right.
So in addition to Glenn, we have Kass and we have Michelle.
Well, this is awesome. So and then have you noticed that the two subjects that we're sitting across are drinking wine as we speak right now? That's
I
good.
didn't notice that.
You didn't notice that.
The point of today, what I wanted to speak about is how casual hypnosis actually is. We're going to talk about casual hypnosis and how hypnosis is a part of your life each day, every day. So what Michelle has done as a volunteer has realized this state. Actually, both, while in my presence, both of these lovely ladies have realized that state. And just one I spend a lot more time with than the other. It is something that's natural, and when you realize it, it's a power that you can harness. Now, it's not something that you can, just accept all at once because there's different stages to this. But as you become more and more familiar with exercising that natural ability to be using a trance-like state, and that brainwave, then more and more you find you can discover and get exactly what you want.
Okay. All right. So, ladies, does that make sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how does that make sense to you?
Oh, I just had my first experience with it.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so you had your first experience. I didn't know that. So how did it make you feel, and what did you learn from the hypnosis with Josh?
Well, I finally slept like a baby.
Really? Okay, so what was irking you prior to that, and all of a sudden you had a session?
Fear and anxiety, and just the fear of moving forward, and what's the word I'm looking for?
Anxiety, anxiousness.
I want to be able to step out forward. And
Well, if I could translate a little bit, what you're saying is that you were anticipating in a lot of the actions that have been taken by everybody is to avoid a negative response. And when you start taking control of that aspect of your mind, it becomes very empowering to let that go and use that function, use that very limited amount of conscious energy to plot out exactly how you want things to go. Casual hypnosis day to day. So actually, Kass has been hypnotized by me about 4 times.
Really?
She only realized she only realized it once because she was always a volunteer because she could have walked away at any time. But when we were sitting talking, there are certain gaps in time when she forgot exactly what was being said.
Oh.
And those things were supporting her releasing the stress she had, also being able to see the relationship she has around her in a different way to take the pressure off and realize that when you have perspective, everything becomes much, much easier.
And you have that soothing voice too.
It really does, because again, not only looking like Michael Douglas, you do sound like Michael Douglas. So
Sucks.
yeah, well, I don't know. Yeah. Does Michael Douglas say that? Is that a line?
He does. That's how I learned how to do his voice. I just said two words over and over again.
Can you say greed, for the lack of a better word? Can you say that?
Greed is good.
Greed is good. Greed works.
That was pretty good.
That was pretty good. It was excellent. All right, so Kass, back to you. So you didn't even know, you had no idea when you met Josh recently that he was going to put you onto hypnosis. Would you do it again knowing now that you sleep like a baby?
Absolutely.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
So, and you only did one, you said how many sessions you did within a short period of time already?
Let me clarify this, because remember, when I talk about casual hypnosis, what's happening is the viewing audience is curious about this. So let me give you a bit of an introduction to what I'm speaking about first. Because they feel a lack of control or want something more from their life. But by and large, the people that watch don't realize they want something that they want. So it's not that I'm creating that and giving to them. What it is curiosity first. And when you're curious, you can let down your guard and accept suggestion. So even if you're not curious and you don't let down your guard when dealing with one person or two people that are trying to help you out or finding out with curiosity what you are all about and what you want, where you want your life to go, remember, and I know this might come to a bit of dismay to a lot of people, you're under constant barrage of hypnotic suggestion and people engineering the way you behave from the moment that you step foot on the earth. And that comes in the form of almost anything you can perceive, the things that you see and you feel and hear. And there's a good bet that you aren't really expressing your way the way that you are, the way you think you are. What's happening is these things have been predetermined for you. And a great man said to me once, and I don't want to say his name right now. I really don't want to say his name, guys. That there's only really 12 people in this world if you walk around, and everybody is some kind of carbon copy of those 12 people. Now, that seems a little depressing because there are a lot of people, especially people that are beautiful, and we do have three beautiful people, and Glenn on the podcast today. So the thing is this, if you want to take charge, you can go through this and listen to what I have to say to you today about casual hypnosis and just taking the time, maybe 15 minutes a day or 20 minutes a day, to really realizing that you can make the changes you want to and step out of the frame that you've been kind of forced into or coerced into because it was easier, into those 12 different forms of people, and actually chase down and feel the way that you want to feel. You can actually choose to feel the way you want to feel regardless of what else is going on in your life, regardless of who you think is influencing you, regardless of what you think you were supposed to be. Now, these two folks in front of me were actually pre-chosen long ago.
Good
and
choice.
That sounds disturbing to one of you. It should sound disturbing to one of you. And the other one, I could talk about how she entered my life and nobody would believe me, but maybe that 3 or 4% of people that really do realize we have control of our lives. So these things aren't by accident. And what is happening is we have two people at different stages of introducing themselves to the idea that hypnosis is actually super casual. And that the more and more you embrace that fact and make it a part of your life, the easier and easier it is to get the outcomes that you want. So they are both exploring exactly what they can make their life after what they considered at one point grim failures. But they aren't failures if all you see it is information. That's probably a whole other podcast. But if you just see it as information and everything as a next step to getting exactly what you want,
right,
you can have anything in your life that you could possibly dream and more.
I agree.
Right? And it doesn't just come down to losing 20 pounds or, making sure that your husband is still interested in you or finding somebody that is and not playing the same cycle of
Right.
guy, discard,
Right.
because of the same similar situations you're going through. Because remember, same is going to attract same, and we're all a bunch of those dozen people, right? It's actually allowing yourself to feel happy knowing that you're building upon what just happened and you're recognizing the negative suggestion that's happening, that's putting you in a position where you get somewhat relief and then you'll do what you're told. It's actually embracing the suggestion to build the future that you want to build. And that's what I think casual hypnosis is. Now, I came up with this. I think I was on the phone with you. I think I was on the phone with you. And I realized that, hey, you really want to explore what this is. It's not just an hour with Glenn and Josh and other folks every Wednesday night, and it's not just, maybe taking the chance to join the Master Hypnotist Society or even the NGH and just exploring what your life can be. A lot of people in that position want to reaffirm that they're right and that their life was right up until that point, but there's no right or wrong. There's no way to do it wrong, and there's no failure. It's just embracing exactly what and how your mind works and using it and taking that trip into the things you could create in your mind, the feelings and the sights and the sounds, and exploring and pushing yourself and stretching beyond things that you thought were just part of life.
All right, well, ladies, what are your thoughts on that? Let's start with Michelle. Michelle, you know more about this than Kass does. How do you interpret what Josh just said? As far as how do you relate it to your experiences with hypnosis?
I mean, I think he said it great. When he talked about hypnosis being a part of our day-to-day life.
Right.
I mean, just look at the advertising that we're exposed to.
Yeah.
And
right.
look at when you see McDonald's commercials on
Yeah.
a little kids TV station. They don't talk about the food.
Right.
Right. They show
Jingles.
kids playing and them hugging their parents and then the golden arches, right? And it's programming in that kid's head from a very young age to trust this brand. And that's kind of a microcosm of what we experience on every level.
Right.
From our parents, from
Right.
the school, like at a very young age, we're told to behave and react a certain way.
Oh, well,
And so, I mean, that's why Josh is here to help us kind of break out of those things that we don't like.
well, you go ahead.
Let me be clear here. What I'm not doing is asking people to put their reality on hold because we have a better answer. What I'm asking you to do is reconsider the perspective with which you see what you're going through and add some of the things that you can hear and feel here to what you want. That's it. We're not telling you to wad up and whatever you've done to this point and throw it in the trash can. What we're asking you, if you can imagine the possibilities available to you, if you add this to what you're going through, your goals, and allowing yourself to open up your mind to exactly what your life can be, both consciously and unconsciously. You have dreams. We all know that you dream. We all know that you have pictures in your mind of what you want your life to be, especially when it comes from within. So especially when it comes from your action, not making other people do things.
Kass, let's start with you. I mean, I know you just got this done this past week, but do you see a new reveal, in your life, or a new way of looking at things just from a short hypnosis session with Josh?
I do feel like, excuse me, I'm able to just have that confidence to move forward because like my thing is fear and anxiety and everything.
It was.
It was, yeah.
Everything that I've been through in my entire life.
Yeah.
But actually, even before that, I think I posted something on Facebook and it said something
Yeah, that's
I
right.
don't know. People only understand from the level of their perspective.
Right.
So then you have to like step out of that and move forward. So
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like, not to make a comparison to a chiropractic, but sometimes we have so much bottled up in our body and our joints and whatnot. We need to get that fixed. We need a correction. So in
That's a
essence-
really good example.
Well, I mean, because I've gone to a chiropractor and so forth, and it's amazing when they put you through there. They crack your body, and you feel like all that tension that's been in your neck, your shoulders, your back, has been sitting there. It's the same thing with our minds.
So without going into detail here,
Yes.
here's what I'm going to challenge you with, right? Because I've actually tested to see everything that you've gone through is an asset to you. Now, you don't have to believe that right now. But if you did, if you imagined what it would be like, that everything you go through is empowering you to the next step that you can go to.
I believe that.
Let me just, I mean, I haven't had that exciting a life, right? I mean, not really. I did some things. I mean, I got into radio early, but I thought it was boring. And you couldn't hold my attention with anything.
No,
it could have been anything was boring.
I could see that. You probably.
Yeah, I just couldn't. I mean, I got my FCC license at 15. I was on the air with people that are really well known now in Syracuse that have stuck with it. Rick DiUlio is one of them. And Rick, if you're watching, I appreciate it. And I really do care to hear your political views more. So, but everything, that's how I got voice control, right? And then as I went and got structure in the military and the Marine Corps, I also became, for the small unit I was in, the drill leader. So I had to learn how to use my throat and bark more. So I could change the tone of my voice in order to project different messages. So from there, I stubbed my toes quite a few times in my 20s, and we're not going to go into detail, but I learned what vice really was. And I learned the dynamics of certain types of relationships without knowing it. So when I got the opportunity to do what I do, which I like very much, I had all these other things to draw from. And then you could look back into the past and see everything you've gone through is the next step to what you want.
Right.
So the reason why you're going to be successful is because you can actually, a mature person, when I say mature, I don't mean like age-wise, right? But somebody that really wants to be a master can actually see those things as advantages. And then you can carry them into the future. Then you can carry them into the future.
Well, let me ask the question. In as far as what we know with talking with Kass and so forth, can hypnosis help her forget a lot of the things that she might not, that might still be on her mind with respect to her past?
I'm sure it could. I wouldn't do it.
Why wouldn't you do it?
Because there's so much rich information and physiology to pull from that.
Can I talk?
Yeah, by all means.
Okay.
So you passed.
I passed on the last question, but you can take the negative emotion out of it and keep the lesson. That's the thing. You can keep the things that you've learned from that experience,
Right.
while taking the negative anchors out of it.
Okay, but and again, I can say that we've all had struggles. We've had issues growing up, anxiety, immature things that we did that we regret, and so forth. But I'm going to stick with Kass for this just for a second. And Michelle, I want your your opinion on all this. Kass went through hell, and I don't know your story, Michelle. And as a pretty woman, I guess because guys are guys. And the vulnerability of a young child growing up in a certain situation. But in Kass's situation, someone took advantage of you, Kass. Multiple times over the course of 3 years, and then beyond that, it's just amazing. Again, to the point where someone really got seriously in trouble for it. One of the worst cases in the state of Indiana, for the record. And you were like 5 to 8 years old, Kass. Is that correct?
Yes.
So, I mean, Michelle, in a reflection, I mean, can you fathom that? I mean, that's just, think about that. I mean, I know you just met today and
I
whatnot.
know, and it's heartbreaking. I have a little girl, and like,
Yeah,
I
right.
thought of that.
Yeah, and I don't get, as a guy, it's easy for me to say this, Josh. I don't know why someone like that did that and took advantage because
And
that
he was a deputy sheriff.
and he was a deputy
Power.
sheriff.
It's all about power.
Okay, so Michelle, quick, real fast. Why is it about power? Why would a deputy sheriff have everything to lose? I mean, seriously, think about this. And Josh, you know this. He knows he's doing something wrong. He knows that because he didn't tell anybody. He got away with it for 3 years. He had the
They said they thought the abuse happened even before.
and you probably couldn't remember it.
Right.
Right, because at that point, I don't know, when you start getting cognitive and remembering stuff, probably 4 or 5 years old.
I think my birth mom, she married him like way younger. God, I don't know.
So, Michelle, let me ask you, I mean, why would a guy do that?
Okay, wait, you're getting out of our scope of practice here. We got to stop.
All right, go ahead.
It's too much.
Why is that too much?
It just is. It's not going to fit into the group, and it's just going to get taken down.
All right.
It's out of my scope of practice. So what you want to ask me is how to respond to those situations, right?
Yes.
Well, it's simple. You can't undo them,
Right.
but the
That's true.
response that you would have to them can be altered very easily, very easily.
So what is done cannot be undone.
Right? The actual, and your unconscious mind is going to see it a different way anyways, no matter what. Like you can see it 3 different ways right now as you look at me. You can see it from a bird's eye view, and you can see it from behind and in front of. Right? So with that perspective, those emotions can disappear very quickly, and that negative anchor that you had when you had that kind of expectation, or when you're reliving it and trying to replay it a new way in your head, will give you a different response. You can even feel it down through your center, down through your stomach. You can let that light up as soon as you know that you want to make that change. And then if it's a positive change, which I think it is, right?
Yes, absolutely. No, I totally.
No, honestly, it's a positive change, right?
Yes.
So your unconscious mind will generate 3
I mean, I
ways.
already.
Okay,
beat
your
the
unconscious.
statistics.
Okay, your unconscious.
Yeah,
mind
you
will-
did.
Okay, guys, your unconscious mind will generate 3 new ways to get what you need, both consciously and unconsciously, because it's okay to feel like you want to be safe. It's okay,
Oh, it helps, especially as a child.
but there's new ways because you're not a child anymore. As a matter of fact, you have people that need to learn new ways from you because they're children too. And we all know, anyone who's dealt with you knows, there's no way I would let you sit next to her at this table if you weren't a good person.
Oh, isn't that so sweet?
You're too nice.
You're too nice, Josh.
I'm dead serious.
I know you are, but you're too
She's got a
nice.
huge heart.
Who does?
Right,
Michelle?
that one
Oh,
right
yeah.
there.
I know I do. I wear my heart on my sleeve.
Well, you do.
Literally,
You
yeah.
do. You do. And if I could just interject here, Kass does, but again, Kass, what you're doing now, and you have 2 children, is that correct?
I do.
You have 2 children. And,
boys.
and Kass and I discussed this earlier because, all the stuff that you grew up with, obviously you know what not to do as a mother, is that correct?
Yes, I refuse to be
Just
what
like
I didn't
that.
have.
So, but, and again, Josh, you know that a lot of times things are passed on when we hear about abuse. Oh, my father was abusive. It appears as if Kass obviously
you gotta break
changed
that
that.
generation curse.
You did. And by the way,
don't have to.
the other thing that Kass could have gotten into, that she could have gotten afflicted by or picked up a bad vice, was drugs and alcohol. You drink a little bit. You're drinking wine today. That's fun. That's what we all do. But Kass, you never got into drugs at all.
Oh, hell no.
Not at all. No. But again, how often have you dealt with people in your business, Josh, where it started at a young age, they were abused and they got into drugs at 12, 13 years old? Kass, you didn't do that.
So
Yeah.
we don't, because we don't ask for content. That's why her story is better for her own broadcast. I don't want to push people into content. It's important we go into context, and it makes it much easier for her to go into the new behaviors and not have the same response if we don't talk about the details.
And if you think about it, we're all addicts in some way or another. It's our phone, it's social media,
Oh my
it's
God, yeah.
smoking, it's drinking, it's gambling, it's something.
There's some kind of way to distract yourself when you use it for that.
Yeah, like smokers. I think smokers not only like to smoke, but they like to go outside and hang out for 15 minutes with another
They've
smoker.
been programmed.
Yes.
Yeah.
This gets back to our original point.
Yeah.
Do you want hypnosis to work and tell you what to do as a giant theme, as this giant storm of suggestion around you? Or do you want to take control very easily, realize that hypnosis works one way or the other, and start following suggestion that will make you better, that's directed towards you? Casual hypnosis. Casual hypnosis, because it's everywhere.
That's right. That's today's theme, casual hypnosis. Excellent. Okay, so folks, you've been watching the Get Real podcast here from the H2O studio. That's Josh Kirnie. I'm Glenn Curry, and these 2 gorgeous girls are Kass and Michelle sitting next to each other, and they look like, I'm telling you, I've said this before, I'll say it again. Is this Heart of 2021? Is this Heart Sisters, Salt and Pepper here? What are we doing
I don't know,
here?
I can't sing, so
You can't, no, well,
I
it doesn't matter. It doesn't. If you look like that, you could do whatever the frig you want.
lip sync.
All right. So next episode, what are we talking about next episode, though? However, Josh, can you?
So, casual hypnosis, part 2, we're going to talk about casual metaphor. Casual metaphor.
Very nice. Okay. You've been watching the Get Real podcast here with Josh and Glenn and our lovely guest, and we'll see you real soon on the next episode. Don't go away and don't miss it.